Okay, so we've got our zip and we're just singed the ends, which I have already done, and I'm using webbing, so I've singed the ends there as well. Right, so now we're going to need our piece D's, which are our zipper tabs. And yes, eagle-eyed people will notice there is already stitching, because I stitched it once and then realised I hadn't cut the lining. Go me. So just cut out the lining and the place. Let's put a pin in here, clip in here. I'm using PUL, so the way you can tell that is the back side is shiny and the front side is like fuzzy. That's my lining, so that's going wrong side of the zip, and then this one's going right side down on top of the zip. And I'm going to take them to the machine and I'm going to stitch across using the seam allowance stated in the pattern. And we're going to top stitch that. Now we're going to sandwich this together. Right, so I've put right side to right side. Now I'm just bringing this back bit up and I'm twisting it so that I can put it on that way. So I've got right sides together. Slightly fiddly on the small one. If you can't manage to do all the layers at once, do one and then do the next. Take a slightly smaller seam allowance first time and then take the proper seam allowance. And then if I've done it right, when you do this, yes, it folds in. So now we're going to top stitch and we're just going to baste the edges together. I'm going to top stitch around there. Now we're just going to baste the two together. So that's now your ring. We now go on to the next step. Right, so for the small one, I'm not going to add the mesh to it. I will add the mesh to the larger one. It's all added exactly the same. I just thought I'd show a couple of different ways of doing the pattern. You don't have to add the mesh into it. I'm going to just take a very small slip for the middle, and then I'm going to use biro because it doesn't rub off, and I have had many where they've rubbed off. So now we want to find quarters. That's what we're looking for. So now I'm going to put those two together. Right, now we want to add our quarters to this one. The way I do that, I put a little V, only needs to be very small. We're going to line those two up. Clip. Right. Oh, and this one. Now we're going to, right, so we're going to take our lining piece and our zipper gusset thing. Now I want to take a little bit of time here to make sure you do it the right way, because I was just doing it and then I was going to add it this way and then that's wrong. So this is the back and this is the front. So we're going to take, right, so if you've got directional here, make sure that it's a directional up the right way. I'm just going to add these together. You're adding the lining, so your right side's down, your wrong side's facing up, and now we're just going to pin that around. I wouldn't cut your zipper tape if I were you, because it can fray over time, which is not always such a good thing. Don't you? Right, now we're going to take that to the machine and we're going to stitch that round with the seam allowance stated in the pattern. And this is done exactly the same way if you're using mesh, and I will show you in the large how to do the mesh. There's a few steps that haven't been added in for this one. It's a little bit tricky here because you've got the zip. I'm going to get as close as I can, then I'm going to move the zip. That then means you haven't got quite as much movement in your zip because you're coming round the corner. Move the zip out of the way. Now that's your lining attached. Now we are going to add our Okay, so this is one slightly different. I've gone off pattern for this one, but it's another way of doing it. I don't want to have to rip out because I've put it on wrong. So what I'm going to do is, this is the back of the bag here, so I'm going to leave a gap to turn it through. In the pattern you don't do that, but don't worry, I will do the medium and the large exactly as the pattern calls for them. This is just another way you could do it if you want to. Slow and steady around the corners. My zips are there, but I can't move them. Let's see if I can move that a bit. Those two back up, push you back in there. Just keep moving it around. Now we're going to turn this in the right way. Never mind, it's for me. Right, so now we want to make sure we put that side under, and we're just going to top stitch around the edge here to close the turning hole. There's your top done. As I said, we've gone off a little bit off pieced, but hey, it wouldn't be one of my videos if we didn't, would it? So I promise I'll do the other two the way it says in the pattern, but this is a way you can do it for just a solid top. So now we're going to need piece B, and we are going to fold that in half, long edges together. So we're going to find the middle. I'm using webbing. If you're using fabric, you'd have made your strap by folding over. So we're going to take piece E, which is our webbing, and we are going to take our middle line and the middle of our webbing or our handle strap, and we're just going to base that down. I'm going to do exactly the same on this one. And then we are going to grab our front gussets, which are our long pieces. And what we're going to do is we are going to sew those together with the seam allowance stated in the pattern. Use my clips. Remembering to start and stop. And we're going to and then we're going to just fold it and top stitch. And we're going to do exactly the same on this one. So that's one. Now we're going to take the next one. Don't do what I did on my first test run. I sewed this together. Don't do it. You need two separate gussets. Right, so now we want to put, you're going to have to twist it slightly. Why am I going to have to twist it slightly? No, I've done it wrong. Hold on. Right, so I'm just going to get Jack out. Oh dear. Now my Sojo's just disappeared recently. I've had a lot of stuff going on and just struggling to come out and find the time. Well, not even find the time. I have the time. I just don't have the inclination. Right, so we're going to add right sides to right sides. I had right side and wrong side because they're the same colour. Now, yes, I'm going to add those two together. I'm not going to stitch those, although it says to in the pattern. I'm not going to because it's PUL and I don't want to put more holes in it than I have to. Let's just sort those out. So now we're going to add the bottom panels. We're going to want our bottom pieces, and again we're going to want our quarters. And then you can take those two, match those two up. Oh, sorry. I've got a new camera, trying a new, well not a new camera, a new stand, so I'm trying a different angle, but I can't quite see where I am. Oh, we need to find the middle here, so we're going to line up those two, find the middle at the back, and find the middle at the front, top and bottom. I'm going to take those 2 centre marks, line them up, and then that will give us these ones. Right, so again, if you've got a up and down pattern, you want to make sure, oh, that was a bit big, make sure that you have it going upright. So now we are, mine doesn't matter, turn it the wrong way. Now we're going to add all the markings together. Now if you need to on here, because it is fabric, you can put little snips in around the corners to help it ease if you need to. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I managed to mess up my centres. Oh, broken one. Look, my middles had slightly moved, weren't slightly together properly. That solves that problem. And then this one here. So now we're going to take that to the machine and we're going to sew that with the seam allowance in the pattern. Making sure we're on construction length stitch. Now just make sure that I move it all around and smooth it out as we come round to hopefully not have any bumps. cute little pouch. How cute! I'm going to do exactly the same with the lining, and we're going to use the seam allowance in the pattern. Oh, my bits are getting a bit big. I'm used to bigger seam allowances. Remember, shiny side is wrong side. Shiny side is wrong side. Now, this is sewn with a slightly bigger seam allowance so that it fits snugly in the base of the bag. So again, right side to right sides. Doesn't matter which way because I haven't got pattern on. A directional pattern. It's a nice hot sunny day here today. First time in a while. We've had a really wet spring so far. Just sewed a pucker. Never mind. best, but hey, oh dear. Trim that down so it fits nice and snug. Just don't cut your stitching. Don't cut your stitching, Claire. Yay. There we go. We now got top and a bottom, so now we just need to assemble the two. Okay, so you're going to want to put your outside, turn it in the wrong way, and then we're going to keep this way out. What we're going to do is we're going to line up our back seams. You want to make sure you do that, because when I did my big one, I forgot to... What did I forget to do? Oh no, I did it. I don't know. Right, it's going to put your outside wrong side out. I'm going to take this and I'm going to keep it the right side out. So we're going to have two right sides together. You want to make sure you've got the back here and the back here. And one of mine, I had to unpick it because I realised I had sewn it on sideways. Right, I'm going to line up. Oh, didn't quite put a big enough one there. Line up our dots. Stitch it in. I'm going to just make sure we open our zips a wee bit. Now we're going to sew that together. We're just going to use a small seam allowance because we're just basting it for now till we add the lining. Now we are going to want to have zip open. I don't want to open it too much because then that adds a lot of bulk on the corners. So now we are going to turn this right side out. I'm going to pop it into So we're sandwiching together. Your zips undone. Now this time we're going to sew it with the full seam allowance. Apologise if you can hear my kids in the background. Doors and windows are open. It's a Sunday. Right, so now I'm going to take this to the machine and we're going to stitch it on the back here. On the back here, we're going to leave a gap for turning. Now, I've left a bit bigger space there. Let's hope I've done this right. Because you know, you never know with me. Yes! Oh yes, it's always so satisfying. Always so satisfying. Now we want to just pull that away from the zipper. We're going to close up the gap. And there you go, there's your small one made. Need to give it a bit of a press. and it's nice and thin, so it can go down small and pack away. There we go. Yay! Now we'll make the medium.